I was on air when we got the message through from Buckingham Palace that the Queen was ill, and it was so unusual for them to put out a statement like that we knew it was serious. And I ended up coming back on air with Marietta Fosham. On and off, I was on air for about 6 hours covering what became this extraordinary story. And then what was interesting, the days that followed, I went down to Buckingham Palace, met people who were paying their respects there. I went and reported on the lying in state in Westminster Hall. And obviously for my show, because it is politics, we spent a lot of time reflecting on the Queen's extraordinary reign and her interaction with so many prime ministers over the years. And I think it was a reminder that in all the political turmoil we've had, not just in the last few years, but over the last 70, general elections, political crises, stalemate and turmoil and the highs and lows of British politics, she had been this constant all the way through. And all the prime ministers I've interviewed over the years have told me about how much they relied on and valued those weekly conferences with her, because she was someone who'd been there and done that and seen it all before. And for every prime minister who felt that they were in the centre of a perfect storm, she was someone who could say, no, it's okay. Churchill went through this, Macmillan went through this, Wilson or Thatcher. And that's clearly something that we've lost. And blimey, this year we've had prime ministers who probably could really do with someone to have offered a bit of wise counsel and advice over the years. So, yeah, that's probably my main reflection, is that just how closely Her Majesty the Queen was bound up in our politics, our political life, and how clearly our prime ministers will have relied on her and her advice over the years.
I mean, I had the job and the duty of being on air in the build up to the death, the announced death of the Queen, and had the job of announcing the death of the Queen live on air, and that was an emotional experience, frankly, more so than I would have imagined. And I think that may have been so for many, many people, maybe millions of people out there in the country, for whom it was a joint national experience, but it was also a very personal experience. This was a monarch that we have all of us grown up seeing in the background as part of our country's life and part of our life. And suddenly she was gone. Something very, very familiar had been taken away. And that came, and shock is not too, I think, harsh a term to use for it, if you can call the death of a woman of that great age anything but a normal experience. It came as something, in a strange way, of a shock. And I think it showed something of the character of the country, maybe just an appreciation of the fabric of the country that most people maybe didn't realise that they had. I mean, there was controversy about the monarchy, of course there was, and about the Queen. But for the most part, I think there was a sort of collective sense of respect and a feeling of loss. And when I say for the most part, I think opinion polls did and would bear me out in that. So again, a moment in all of our lives and the life of our country that I guess none of us will ever forget. For the future, looking forward to it. You know, we're in the right place at the right time. It's gone pretty well, hasn't it? You know, for this early stage of a new radio station, I think we've surpassed expectations in the people we are reaching and the quality of the stuff we're broadcasting to those people. And frankly, I'll settle for that just now at this stage, with a lot more still obviously to do.